Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Karen Odd and these are Karen's Oddities. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Regardless, I do want to ask that you give this video a thumbs up, comment your thoughts below, even if you disagree with my content. And I also want to ask that you share this video and our channel with one person that you know, as I'm confident there is something here that both you and they can benefit from. We're continuing on with reviewing Married at First Sight. Last Thursday, they released episode 16, 17, and 18. I've only seen 16 and 17. I started watching 18. Well, I was finishing off episode 17 last night, and I was like half awake. Ignore my messy hair. I was half awake. So I did like rewatch it right now. I'm at the end part, and after this, I'm going to watch episode 18, and if there's anything juicy there, I will probably make another short video regarding that. But just to put things in perspective, first of all, if you have not seen the episodes that were just released on Thursday, I'm recording this on Saturday morning, 3 days after the videos were released. If you have not seen them, you probably should not watch this because I am going to spoil things here. I'm going to kind of like recap highlighting points that I want to make in the episodes that were released and also give my personal opinions about these couples and just life and dating in general. So in episode 16, they're officially 1 week away from decision day. I uploaded a previous video where they were having their last dinner. Things got a little bit like dramatic at that dinner. So at this point, this episode starts with people heading back to their designated spaces, their apartments, and they're kind of debriefing about the dinner that they just had. Amazing coffee. Coffee's amazing. Anyway, so Felipe and Tori are in their designated bedroom in their apartment. And Felipe talks about he would have wanted to have more support. I understand what he's saying, right? I think that people think that when you get married, that your spouse, and technically, right, if it's a marriage based on truth, honesty, integrity, and respect, your spouse should be supportive of the decisions and things that you're saying and doing. I don't think a spouse should stand by you through everything, right? They have to stand by you through things that are aligned with their values and what they believe in, right? So while Felipe wanted support from Tori when he was getting cooked at dinner, what would it look like for Tori to support him during that time when essentially she would be lowering her value and standards, right? So you can't stand by your spouse for every single thing. You stand by your spouse when you see that they're getting verbally attacked and you want to come to their defense because it goes against your values, right? Or it's aligned with your values versus going against your values. So like, I get it, but it's also like, he needs to think about, look at the shit that you've been saying. Every dinner, you're saying something stupid. I understand it's true, and it can be true, and that could be his truth all day long. You're saying things that no one in their right mind would stand by. No one in their right mind outside of this experiment would remain with a person that clearly says, I'm not sure if I want to be married. I'm not sure if I want to be married to you. It's not that I don't like you, but I find myself thinking about ways to get out of this. I find myself thinking about whether or not I want to stay in this marriage. He mentions that he's going to be honest, like he wants to, or he misses, or he likes sleeping with several women, and that he misses his single life. Like, these are all glaring red flags of a person that is not mature enough or ready for marriage or long-term commitment, right? Imagine, this is a short experiment. This isn't, they've been together dating for 10, this is an ultimatum, okay? This is two strangers that were paired together, and in a short period of time, these are the glaring red flags that they're showing you. So you also need to think about how much time has lapsed and how you weigh that against the time vested. This is a short experiment. And if in that short experiment, he feels this strongly about the things that he's saying, that says a lot about him being ready. It would be different if they'd been a couple for 5 years or 10 years and he's saying these things, and okay, like you have time where it's like, you've gotten to know each other, you've worked on the relationship, you've had true conflict, you've worked on it, and maybe you miss things from before that. You have more to work with, right? So I think it really says something about the timing of this experiment. So it's interesting because Tori And this comes up later in another episode too. She says something to the effect of, you know, I felt blindsided because you said something that you didn't say to me in private. Girl, your concern should not be being blindsided about something he didn't disclose to you in private. Your concern should be the things that he is specifically saying. He is specifically saying that he's finding ways to get out of the marriage when he's going to the grocery store, when he's going to a walk. This man is just casually sitting thinking about, how do I get out of this? That should be your concern. Your concern is that he's saying clearly and directly, I'm going to be honest, I like sleeping with multiple women. Your concern should be that he has a history of cheating. Your concern should be when he specifically said, it's not that I don't know if I want to be married. I don't know if I want to be married to you. I don't know how much more direct that language can be, but your concern shouldn't be that he didn't say these things behind closed doors before saying it at a dinner table with a bunch of your friends. Your concern should be that his mind has those thoughts, that he has those thoughts, that over a span of weeks, this is what he's telling you. Okay, so that's my feedback to Tori, if she ever watches this, but I have a small platform, so I doubt this will ever make it across to her, but it's like, that's what your concern needs to be. Not how it looks like in the public, how it's going to look across television, how it looks to your friends. Your concern needs to be the thoughts that he's saying and what type of statements those thoughts are generating from Felipe. That's what your concern needs to be. My note says Tori cares about appearances, but we know that, right? At some point in this episode, they're heading to the couples retreat. Tori's car breaks down. I heard Tori has a great job, and I'm not talking shit, but I am talking shit. Tori has a great job. Okay, why is your car breaking down? And I'm not saying people with great jobs can't have cars that break down, but it's like cars breaking down. They have to get... And why isn't Felipe driving? Does Felipe have a car? And I know I'm not trying to be like materialistic, but like these are people that are on our TV screens that are showing us their whole lives, talking about how great they are and all the things that they do. Not that these two couples have, but I'm just like, why didn't Felipe drive? And I'm someone that can often be in my quote unquote masculine energy. I don't think that Tori's in her masculine energy, but I do think that one, I can naturally be in my masculine energy, but also I will enter my masculine energy when the masculine counterpart that I have is not masculine enough, right? So by default, someone has to take the lead. And I think that with Tori, she's primarily in her feminine energy, but because Felipe is not dominant, masculine, alpha enough, she has to be, which I think is part of why she's driving, right? I think it's part of why she pulled over. I think it's part of why she's annoyed that he's not being helpful during this. Like, he's not offering solutions. Even when she says, we're going to have to buy a car, he says, like, I'll be there as your support. You'll be wearing the pants in this relationship, Tori. We've seen that. The man sleeps in. You have concerns about whether or not he'll help you with your dog. You have concerns about how he helps you in the household. You will be in your masculine energy, solving all the problems in this relationship and in this marriage. Here are the indications. Here are the signs. Let's just add to the red flags with Felipe. Let's move on. Mecca and Belle. Mecca is getting on my absolute last nerve. There is no recovery for Mecca, for me, okay? I see Bella Jolie. We see what they're presenting us, right? She's beautiful, she's smart, she's talented, she's kind, she's loving, she's feminine, she's soft. What do you want? What do you want? And is there something wrong with Mecca? There are a lot of things wrong with Mecca, right? Like, Mecca's gonna get all the smoke for me. I don't care about him pissing the bed. I don't care about his dumbass daddy. I don't care about his mother. I don't care about his stepmother. I don't care about how he grew up feeling sad that he didn't have a relationship. I don't care. Like, at this point, I'm glad your mother left. I'm glad your mother left. I'm glad your mom did not stay. I wouldn't stay either. And, you know, I'm talking shit and it's not nice because I'm sure when he was young, he was a very kind little boy. But at this point, the result of everything that he's experienced and him continuing to piss me off on screen, I'm glad your mom left. I'm glad your mom left. So he's getting on my last nerve. My notes are, Mecca needs his ass beat, and I highlighted that line. Mecca needs his ass beat at this point. Not only does he need his ass beat for the things that he's saying and the way that he's treating Belle, he needs his ass beat because he's enjoying it. He's reveling in this, okay? And we'll talk about what that looks like, okay? When they go to the pool at some point, they're talking about the dinner conversation where he says, yeah, I mean, I thought you were pretty, but is she pretty enough for me? He's gaslighting the fuck out of Belle, saying that that's not what he said and that's not how he remembers it, right? And Bella's eating it up. She's like, well, yeah, that's what you said. Like, she doesn't get angry, but she needed to get angry with him and be like, when these cameras roll back, you're going to see that that's exactly what you said, or something like that, right? Like, hit him in the chest, girl, with words, right? So I put, he's full of shit about not knowing what he said. He's like, that's not what I said. There's no way. That's crazy if that's what I said. You know that's what you said. It was fucking last night. You know that's what you said. You weren't inebriated. You know that's what you said, and you chose to say it because you want to hurt Belle. You want to break her down because your male ego is so fragile. And there's nothing, and this is a little bit for whoever is watching this, male or female, and just like a personal bit too. There is nothing more telling and more dangerous than a man with a fragile ego. The things that they will say, the things that they will do, the way that they will treat you is incredibly telling. So be careful. If you're around men or you have men in your sphere, on your roster that have access to you, that have a fragile ego, because they're dangerous. So good. Okay. So also in that pool, I think they're in the jacuzzi or the pool. They're talking about the dinner from last night. Another point where Mecca's getting on my nerves, and I drew like a little rolling eyes emoji on my notes. He's playing the victim. He's saying these things. When he brings them up, when he asked Belle about it in the bathroom, he's laughing. He's like, what's wrong? You seem like you're down in the dumps. And she's like, can I get a fucking break? He's laughing. He's smiling. He's enjoying getting a rise out of her, right? So then what is pissing me off further, he's in the jacuzzi or pool with her. They're talking about the incident of what he said about not being attracted to her and whether or not she's pretty enough for him. And then he's like, he gets all quiet and he's looking down and he's like, she's like, what's wrong? And he's like, I keep messing up and something in my brain. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Okay. Mecca's now trying to reverse psychology, play the victim. This is why my mama didn't love me. This is why my mama didn't stay. I always make mistakes. Shut up. That's not accountability. Okay. You want to have those little reflections and sad moments for yourself. Don't have them on camera. Don't have them in front of her. Have them when you go and you're sitting by yourself and you're reflecting on your actions and you know what you do with that information. You do better. You stop repeating it. You stop fucking reveling in degrading this woman and being a piece of shit to her. That's how you make progress. Not by seeking pity and playing the victim when you were actively saying little things to destroy this woman's ego and not ego, but destroy her self-esteem and self-confidence. What is your problem? And not every thought that you have has to be said. And there are ways to say things that are not disrespectful and that don't come from a place of arrogance. And that is where Mecca is lacking. And he's pissing me off, and someone needs to beat his ass. And I will stand by that throughout the whole rest of the season. There's no way that man can redeem himself whatsoever. No way whatsoever. He could fall down the stairs and break a leg. I would not feel sorry for him. I would not. No, I'm angry. Can you tell? Let's move on. Caitlin and Devin. I'm sorry, buddy. I scared my dog when I slammed in a book. I'm sorry, buddy. Go back to sleep, buddy. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. So at some point in one of my previous videos, I asked myself, have Kevin, who's Kevin? Have Caitlin and Devin slept together yet? When we learned that Caitlin has not kissed Devin since Mexico, I think it's a 10-week process. So I don't know how many weeks have lapsed that they haven't even kissed. They've been sleeping in the same bed together. They've been living together. And I'm not saying they have to sleep together or be intimate or share any type of physical intimacy beyond a kiss, but I'm to not even kiss for weeks and you're in the same house, But again, this is Caitlyn who told us that, and mind you, I don't like cuddling either. But when I like someone, and if you get me to soften up enough, and if I feel comfortable and safe, I will cuddle. I will cuddle. I will be the biggest cuddle bug ever. But Caitlyn doesn't want to cuddle with this man. She'll put his feet on him, but she doesn't want to cuddle with him. Doesn't want to kiss him, doesn't talk to him, doesn't interact with him, doesn't open up with him. What are you doing here, Caitlyn? Like, Caitlyn is getting on my last nerve. And when this first started, I thought they were really cute. I thought they make a really cute couple. Like, Devin is super cute. I think Caitlyn is cute. I think they make a really good couple. But when you start to see the personalities unfold and the flaws in these people's logic and the audacity, right? And the nerve of like how they are acting and how entitled they feel in these situations, it really changes your perspective about like beauty and attraction. Because Caitlyn, I think she's a pretty girl. I do still think she's a pretty girl, but damn, that girl needs therapy, and she self-sabotages all of her relationships. I don't doubt that she wasn't in abusive relationships. Like, I can see the patterns, and like that's probably why she's guarded, but there comes a point where it's not just being guarded anymore. Like, Devin has showed in a lot of ways that he can be a safe space for her, and she continues to disrespect him. I personally think sometimes, and I might get hate for this, but sometimes as people, like, we are not ready to do better. We're not ready to choose better. We're not ready to make better choices in dating. So we self-sabotage because the shitty relationships that we've been in have been so much more familiar and comfortable to us. And we don't know, what would we do? Like, what would you do if you had someone that was everything that you say you want in a relationship, right? And maybe this is a message for me, because sometimes I meet some amazing guys. They're great. They do great things. They're super kind to me. And I'll see an orange flag and it'll turn glaring red and I'm not interested anymore, right? But let a guy come through that I'm attracted to, that is successful, that is an alpha male, and I'm head over heels, right? But he turns out to be toxic and terrible. Maybe I'm Caitlyn. Maybe Caitlyn and I were the same. Who knows, right? But one thing about me is I'm not delusional about it. I feel like Caitlyn would like deny it all day. I'm not delusional. That's one thing that I'm not. Watching them, I said, is like watching paint dry at this point. Like, I'm getting tired of watching them. Sometimes like I'll fast forward because I'm like, there's nothing here, right? And I thank God, and we'll talk about it in a minute when we get to episode 17, but they end up breaking up basically, but we'll get to that in a minute. As it relates like intimacy, seed, it's like, okay, like, because I hate when I'm in a connection with someone, and this doesn't happen often, but I feel like I've had like one like that, where intimacy and affection did not come naturally, right? And because it didn't come naturally, like, it was always like talking about it, like, oh, I would like you to do XYZ. When you start talking about sex or intimacy or trying to like schedule it or trying to like create the environment, it's rarely ever going to flow the way it's supposed to. Like, physical attraction, intimacy, and connection is something that should happen naturally, right? It's usually there. It's in something small. Usually it's like initial attraction, and then like something that someone says, something that someone does, or they like touch your back, or they touch your thigh, and like those little things like excite you, right? They make you excited. It's a smile, it's a look, it's a touch, it's a growing feeling. It's an energetic exchange that is like growing between people until eventually like you both feel comfortable enough to let your guards down and like dive in full force. And that is what is like so beautiful about like attraction, intimacy, connection, and relationships, right? It's like this dance that you play with people. And when you don't try to force it, and when you let things just unfold, like intimacy that happens freely and naturally is like the most liberating, most beautiful thing ever. You can tell I've had some great experiences, but that's how it's supposed to be. So them like talking about it and like trying to like force it, it's doing a disservice, honestly. And I wish like the experts would have helped them more with that. And I'm not saying like pushing them, but like they should have gotten the game that Nikki and Sean got, right? Like, they should have gotten to play, or maybe all the couples, right? To play a game about intimacy, or a game that helped each couple address and target the specific issues they were having in their connection. That would have been helpful. And I don't think we saw that this time. All right, let's see. In this episode, we do start to see a seed is like planted in Devon's mind. While I think Devon is attractive, I think a lot of this cast is very immature, right? And maturity does not come with age. A lot of the cast is immature. Devon is immature, and with immaturity, he's also insecure to some degree, right? You have a person that is already insecure, and then they're in a connection that's not validating them. They have cameras and they have other people telling them that is also adding to their lack of validation of how this person doesn't like them. They're playing this game where it's like Caitlyn is like the most likely to request a swap, most likely to get the ick. Like everyone is like poking fun at it, right? So when you have an insecurity and you have people around you that are adding to it, and you add the layer of like, this is a international show. I think it's international, right? Or a national show, whatever. It's on TV. It's on Netflix. I think it's international at this point. That insecurity starts to grow, right? That seed just starts to grow and grow. And we start to see it where Mecca and obviously this is production and editing, and they're formatting this show in a specific way to also make the viewer think certain things, right? That's what makes good TV, right? You foreshadow different things. But yeah, Devon's insecurity is like unfolding, right? Because you have Adam talking about when they went on a date and Caitlyn wasn't talking to him or dancing with him. Then you have Adam and the other guys like saying, oh, look at Mecca's rizzing up your girl. And there were a couple of instances in this retreat, because they go on like a couples retreat, where yes, Caitlyn and Mecca go off and talk on their own. And yes, can friendships form outside of that? Absolutely. But at this point, every couple here is married, right? So if you're going to have those one-on-one conversations, like, I don't know if you should even be having them, because I don't know if it's appropriate. Or you have them and they're short, and the body language also speaks a lot, right? So I think while there could be some truth to what Devon is saying, because he already has those underlying insecurities, everything that other people are saying are just adding to it and making the situation worse. Sean and Nikki. The comment about the Seattle NYC thing, I've heard things like this about, first of all, I've said this in previous videos. I think the rating thing, like a 1 to 10, I think it's bullshit, and I don't think we should use that, because we shouldn't categorize people's level of attractiveness on a scale. And also, I do think that physical attraction and like beauty and all of these things, I think they're subjective, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I think is beautiful is different than what you think is beautiful. What people think of me is different than what they think of you, and etc. Now, I'm going to be a different number on everyone's scale, and on my own scale too, right? So, but I have heard, in terms of like attraction, I've heard about like LA and New York City, right? I think a couple of things come into play. And also you have to think about like Europe, and you have to think about like international versus like the US. All these things come into play. New York City is a melting pot. It has everything. It has every mix, every type of person. You got models. It's overpopulated. So yeah, attraction there is higher because the volume is higher. It's more diverse. Same. And in LA, I think it's more like people are prioritizing their appearance, right? Whether it's plastic surgery, whether it's Botox, whether it's skincare treatments, and it's a very shallow and superficial place. And there's Miami, right? You could throw Miami in there too. You got all the BBLs, all these things. So I get what he was saying, right? But you don't say things like that. But we'll get to that later, because it does come up in another episode, which is it's interesting when you get the other side of the story, right? So Nikki talks a little bit about that instance. Nikki's mom talks to Sean on the phone, and you can tell Nikki's mom don't give a shit about that man, because we don't know to what level of detail Nikki has been talking to her mom about Sean. And if Nikki has a relationship with her mother that I have with mine, Nikki's mom knows everything. Nikki's mom knows everything, because I will tell my mom everything, right? Within reason, that I want to share. I don't like every day, like if I sleep with someone, hey mom, I slept with someone and blah, blah, blah happened. No, like if it's something worth telling her, I will tell her, even if it's about something in the bedroom. If something crazy happened, I'll be like, guess what happened, blah, 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 and we'll talk about it. Because my mom is she's my best friend. She's my best friend. Wasn't always that way, but she is my best friend. And I love that. So Nikki's mom did not give a shit about talking to that man, because then she's like, we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk. And when someone says, we'll talk, she knows the cameras are on. She knows it's recording. She knows it's not safe to talk right now, but she's saying, I got some words for you. It's like indirectly saying that. Let's see. This next note says, Sean thinks he's Pastor Cal for real, for real. My other notes, okay, so I do think, because it's like, he's trying to psychoanalyze and break down everyone. I think he got some type of sexual activity from Nikki and that inflated his ego. So now he thinks that like, okay, let me like boast my, like do my peacock feathers, whatever, and let me like interject and give my bit and whatever. And I get it. He has a PhD. I don't know who else there has a PhD, and I don't exactly know what it's in. I think his PhD, isn't it in education? Because like if it is in education, I don't know what like sector of education, but I'm also like, okay, my guy, sit the fuck down. You're not a marriage expert. Your relationship is not perfect. You were gay and closeted, and I will stand by that throughout. I don't care what Sean is gay and closeted. I don't care. So it's like, I don't know. I think that he apologized to Adam to save face, because right after the incident happened and they were headed back to their place, he's with Nikki and he's like, he has that little stupid smile on, the same stupid smile that Mecca does when he's talking shit about Mecca and trying to see like what people thought about it. He has that little stupid smile on where he's like, I knew. Yeah, I wanted to get a rise out of him. Yeah, and I could tell like I got a rise out of him. Like, shut the fuck up, Sean. So he goes to apologize because he wants to save face. Because when he did it, he knew what he was doing it for. He knew that he wanted to like get a rise out of Adam. He knew that he was capable of giving that feedback in a way that was more constructive and wasn't like such a personal attack and or questioning his emotional intelligence. So Sean knew what he was doing. I don't care what he says. He knew what he was doing. Okay, so the games that are played in group settings, as we know in these shows, are meant to entice. They're meant to entice individuals. They're meant to stir things up. They're meant to stir up drama. They're meant to entice other couples. And then you have alcohol, right? And you have people like letting their inhibitions are down, their guard is down, they're in a space, they're enjoying, and it starts with fun, but it never ends well. It never ends well, okay? And we've seen this time and time again, right? So if it were me and I went into the show, I would know I'm not drinking as much because I know what these shows are meant to do, right? So I would keep it pretty and keep it light because I know what the producers want by bringing us in the space with alcohol and with these games that they've pre-written that they know are going to try to personally attack our relationships. So Felipe wins this trophy because he is considered, the game is who is the most likely to insert random thing in a relationship or in their marriage. Felipe wins, and a lot of the things that caused him to win were things surrounding infidelity, being a piece of shit husband, lack of honesty, lack of integrity, sexting. That was literally the theme of everything that he won. He gets a trophy, they put some alcohol in it, he gives his little speech and says that I'm a winner, I win at everything. He's laughing, he does a shot out of it, someone is recording him, etc. Tori decides to go upstairs. At the beginning, she's laughing because she thinks it's funny, but I don't think she expected that Felipe was going to win them all. And I think that at some point, the rest of the crew decided, you know, Felipe is a silly guy. He's the life of the party. It's easy to like put it all on him. And it was easier to pick someone and put it all on them. I understand Felipe like enjoying it and thinking it's funny and everyone thinking it's funny and not thinking anything of it. And I also see Tori's side of it. If it were me, I agree with Tori. Yes, they're making a joke, but look at all the things that they're making a joke of. Sexting, infidelity, cheating, lying, inability to be ready for marriage. Like, this is my reality. We're a week from decision day, and the person that I'm sitting next to was voted most likely to do all of these 5 things. So I understand where Tori's coming from, where it's like, yes, we're here playing a game and it's fun, but it's also like it awakens something in her where she's like, fuck, I'm with the wrong person, or I'm with the person that has all these issues, right? And then in the end, I think what could have probably softened it, but I think she was still downstairs. What Felipe could have said, either in the middle of the game or at the end, been like, I appreciate this trophy. However, I want to say on the record, I am not a cheater. I'm not XYZ. I really admire Tori and I look forward to building something like that, but something that was genuine. That could have softened it versus just saying his stupid ass speech about himself drinking out of it and acting like nothing was insensitive to Tori. So I understand. But also it's like, Tori, we start at the beginning with like, what do you expect, honey? What do you expect, honey? This man has said it clear as day. So now he's playing a game and now you want to cry about it? Or maybe it's like the buildup of it all. But it's just like, sometimes we got to stop lying to ourselves. We know what it is. We know what it's not. Let's be honest with ourselves here. I can't stand Michelle's voice. I am over her. I am over Michelle. At the beginning, I did say Michelle and Cameron, boringest couple ever, but I do think Michelle is super beautiful. I still think she's super beautiful. I think she has a really unique face, her little dimples, she's really cute, nice eyes. I think she's really beautiful. And almost like the most beautiful like castmate of this season. But I'm tired of her voice. I just think that like a lot of you guys need to shut the fuck up. Shut up. Okay. Mecca wants titties because he has never been breastfed. I'm so sorry, but I was just reading my notes and that's what it says. And I do think, like, if we look at the studies of Sigmund Freud, his issue with Belle's boobs, because he wants to be breastfed. Like, men that want to be breastfed, like men that want to like engage with our boobs, they have mommy issues. That's it. That's it. I said what I said, and I'm not taking it back. What does this say? Oh, I do think, okay, so at the end of the episode, Philippe and Tori break up. Tori's confronting him about the game, and then she's saying like, okay, but I'm the butt of the joke too. And then he's like, okay, but why do you care about what everyone else is saying? And I get it, but at the end, he's like, she's crying. And he's like, do you want me to go? And she's like, yes. So then he just leaves. There's no fight. Not that you have to like fight or like insist and like not let her leave, but it's like, there's no pleading. I don't think he wants to be in it either. Like, I think when people break up and the way that they break up and the ease of breaking up is telling of where they are in that connection in that moment. I genuinely believe that. He says on his own, maybe we're not compatible. She says, maybe we're not. Also very telling. We have to pay attention to the things that people say, the way that they react, and the things that they do. Sometimes people say, don't pay attention to words, pay attention to what they say. I agree, but words also matter. The words that come out naturally, right? I know that they say actions speak louder than words because people will say things and not do them, but sometimes people say things without trying and they don't even realize what they're saying. Okay? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to make a separate video on episode 17 and 20 because this one got a little bit long, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.